A new Washington Post poll, ABC poll out this morning shows Donald Trump is losing support with women voters to Vice President Harris. Trump trails Harris with women ages 18 to 29 by 23% and with women ages 30 to 49 by 17%. Back in July, the same poll showed Trump actually had an advantage over President Biden with the same groups. New York Governor Kathy Hochul joins us now.
Governor Hochul, good morning. Can we just start with earlier this week, J.D. Vance out on the campaign trail was doing a bunch of interviews and said that women he doesn't think really care about abortion. They care about the issues, and he doesn't think abortion is one of the issues that is important to them. He said they care about normal things. I'm wondering your take on that.
Oh, my gosh. If you want more evidence of how out of touch he is with what women are thinking about, talking about, or concerned about, then that's Exhibit A. I have to tell you that because of Donald Trump, 1 out of 3 women in America now live under an abortion ban. So women have seen what happened before under Donald Trump. They don't want to have the Trump travesty part 2. They know what's coming, and that's a national abortion ban. They'll stop at nothing. So I would say he is going to continue on that path to their detriment. And that's one more reason why Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will defeat them handily, especially when it comes to picking up the women's vote.
And if, to your point, Governor, it's borne out in the numbers. Take a look at this poll. This was conducted May 15th to June 18th. So this is a while ago, but it was published on August 14th of women of reproductive age. This was their broad opposition to abortion restrictions. 74% think abortion should be legal. 74% oppose leaving it up to the states, which, as you know, is the big argument they're going to make. And 70% support nationwide right to abortion. 64% oppose 15-week national abortion. I mean, Governor, they are seeing the same numbers, right? They are simply choosing not to care. I simply do not understand the strategy.
I don't think there is a strategy. This is who they are. They can't go recreate themselves. They realize that their views of women are back to 1848, even before the first women's convention demanding rights that was held here in the state of New York. So they can continue on that path. They are so detached from reality when it comes to what American women want. American women, I mean Republicans, independents, Democrats. So that's fine. Continue. I would recommend them that they continue on the path of saying women don't care about abortion, and we're just going to run up the score.
Governor, the campaign announced this morning its themes for this upcoming convention week. And they lay out thematically for the people on Monday a bold vision for America's future, a fight for our freedoms, and ending with Kamala Harris accepting the nomination under the theme for our future. This issue on abortion, like so many other issues, are a thread throughout these themes. What is do you think the campaign's impact going to be, sort of taking thematically this idea of, for the people, our future, the fight for our rights? How do you think that will resonate in this thematic approach with an issue like abortion, among others?
I don't think it's just abortion they're going to be talking about. Abortion actually is an issue that it comes down to whether or not you're allowing people to have their own rights. So that transcends just the narrow issue of abortion. We're talking about voting rights and right to make your decisions and the right to live in good housing, the right to have a good education, the right to be able to afford to buy the groceries and have the child care for your family. So there's also affordability is going to be a major theme of this. And I went yesterday shopping in a Target with the mom that we in New York were able to help with money to help buy those back to school supplies. I saw her struggling and having to compare prices, and her little 12-year-olds saying, you can't get that one, Mommy, that one's too much. So she'll be talking about families in a broader sense. Abortion's very important, but I would not say this convention is all about that at all. When we talk about for the people, that means struggling working class Americans who are looking for someone who has their back, who's lived their experience more than a Donald Trump ever can lay claim to.
You know, Governor, as you said that, it made me think about the economic policy proposal that Vice President Harris put forward, a piece of her proposal that she put forward this week. And dovetailing with something, frankly, that you're doing in New York. New York is sending out $300 direct payments, and Newsweek has a story on it. Susan Blake wrote, and who qualify. The money is now available to low and moderate income families. No application is necessary. Is this universal basic income? Is this a pilot program that's happening in New York? What is the backstory on this particular proposal?
This is a continuation of my policies that begun this summer to realize that families are still struggling with inflation. We have a lot we can do. So a couple of things, $350 million that we have allocated for families to help with back to school spending. So this is a one-shot infusion right now. And I can't tell you how grateful this mom was yesterday when we shopped. She said, I could not buy what I need for my two sons. One is autistic. They need extra help. They're just a wonderful family. And she said countless times we walked through the aisles of Target, I thank you for letting this happen. This would be such a struggle for us. So it's a recognition that we are hearing these voices. We also help families with child care. I announced a plan where a family of four with $108,000 of income or less, their child care costs are no longer $350 on average. It'll be capped at $15. See, this is what I want to get out there, is how Democrats are embracing the families. We own family values. We own that narrative because we're the ones actually putting money in the pockets of struggling families here in New York and across the country under Kamala Harris's plan. And it makes a real difference. That money goes back in the economy. It helps create jobs. It's a smart investment, investing in our families.
To that point, let's take a listen to Vice President Harris on the stump talking about how she'll restore the child tax credit.
So as president, I'll not only restore that tax cut, but expand it. We will provide $6,000 in tax relief to families during the first year of a child's life.
Governor, we know this works. We know it lifted children out of poverty. You really shouldn't even have to make the argument to Republicans that this is, in fact, a good thing. And yet here we are. We started talking about women, so I want to finish by talking about men, knowing that that is some of the work that the Harris-Walz campaign will need to do to close the gap in this election. How do you make something like the child tax credit a message that appeals to and resonates with American men?
Oh, I think this is easy to do. We're talking about American families. You know, there are many men in households with children, many, and they're the ones who also have to pay the bills. They're sitting at the kitchen table at night just like a woman would be with her children. So I wouldn't even separate men and women. This is a family issue, and that money back in their pockets, like we did here in New York. When I first became governor, the child tax credit started at age 4. I said, wait a minute. I have a 2-year-old grandchild. The diapers, the formula, everything when they're infants costs so much more money. So why aren't we helping families from birth on up? And that's exactly what Kamala Harris is talking about. I think the men will appreciate getting that financial assistance. It's going to help all families just be able to survive and get by, but also we want to give them a better future. This is what the Harris-Walz administration is going to do. I'm so excited about it.
Governor Kathy Hochul, are you speaking this week, actually, before we let you go?
Monday night, I have a rehearsal as soon as I'm done with you.
All right, Governor Kathy Hochul, we will be watching you Monday night. Thank you so much for your time.